another point and another draw that feels like yet another loss. We had it and we've thrown it away.
Well, with Kelbrook in the house tonight, it's quite fitting. It was ding-ding, round 2 against Forest at Bramall Lane, and they've had us on the ropes really. Straight from the off, shot on target within a minute. We've been giving the ball away ridiculously. Egan's had a shocker, Norwood's had a bit of a shocker. Continually giving the ball to them, not sure what we're playing at. All these passing drills before the start of the game. Not sure what's happening there. The penalty, 50-50 for me really. The kind of things you see given these days. He's got the beating of RND, got hands on him, he's going to go down. RND continually getting beaten down this side. I think Robinson's looking a bit better, to be honest, down the left-hand side, but then I'm giving him the commentator's curse because Robinson had a good game and then he gave a throw-in straight to them. I thought Fleck was having a good game, and he headed it back to them. And I just don't think our play's working. They've tried building from the back and they're pressuring us straight away, they're really heavy on the pressure. That's not working to our advantage, opposing us down. And if we try and boot it up to the top, well, Shark's not tall enough and their defender seems to have the beating of them. Another referee who seems to be against us, some really dictated decisions, really getting the crowds back. And I think we just need to change things second half. Again, another half where we haven't scored. For me, second half, I'd get Jebbo up front or even McBurney. Need a bit of height up front. If they're going to keep pressuring us, then let's get the ball forward, get it some height, and so we get some more chances. At the minute, it isn't working, Blades, but let's see. Hecky give him a kick on the backside and a better look for the second half.
Full time at the lane. Being sat here thinking that I'm going to come out and say, where's the safety? Really Sharks come on in safety, and instead we've got another point and another draw that feels like yet another loss. We had it and we've thrown it away. Second half we came back on, doing exactly the same, no change of game plan, giving the ball away stupidly, losing possession constantly. It was just sloppy all around, but we managed to pick it up, string some good passes together. We started crowding their players out and actually it's starting to look like we might have a chance. But being honest, it's only been a matter of time. The amount of shots that they had in the first and second half, thank God that West's here, because it's just ridiculous. I wouldn't lose at all, to be honest. Billy Sharp doing what he's doing. McBurney made a great impact when he came on. Thought Morgan Gibbs White was good, but we're expecting too much of him. And he's giving all away as well. We've come to expect better of these players and we've seen better of them, and they're just not delivering in the way that we need them to be. And these games are the must-win games when it's this tight at where we are at table at the minute. On to Tuesday and it's not sending us in that good a mindset for it all. I don't even know what to say. I thought that I was going to sit here and say that we've got to win. And not deserve one, to be honest with you, but it's a win that we needed, and instead we're going to let it down and throw it away in the last 5 minutes just by making stupid mistakes, by switching off, by being reckless with ball, by passing it in front of goal, and it was only a matter of time before it went in. A bit disappointing leaving here tonight, but onwards and upwards. On to Tuesday, we go again, up the Blades.
Oh, thanks very much, Katie. Yeah, wow. What a game! What a game! That was a really good game. Even though we came away from it with a single point, at least we didn't lose, which is good, and that's a positive. We could have won. There's a negative, if you like, to start with. However, from that game itself, the major. Let's start with the negatives. The negatives really, for me, the first half was full of errors and poor passing. We just failed to find a red and white striped shirt. I'm not going to just single out Norwood here because that's usually the target, but across the whole of the team we seem to have a real problem in threading a few passes together. Even the most basic short passes, it always seemed to go to a Forest player. Forest did a really good job on us in the first half and they dominated the first half because they seem to have got a strategy and a plan. They're a powerful team when they need to be. So we had to counter that, and we didn't seem to deal with it in the first half at all. Second half, however, another positive was as Heckingbottom's substitutes. Now I started to doubt straight away that we were going to put a left-handed sided wing back on the right-hand side with Osborne. but he did really well. That was a good, inspired substitution. He started to have a great effect on that right-hand side and started to make the Forest defence really think about things. Obviously, it's his old team, and he wanted to get at them, and he seemed to just really get under their skin, which was really, really good. But, our game changed when the substitutes came, and then we started to go at them a bit more, which was good to see. We started to lift and grow into the game. Morgan Gibbs-White and Berger started to become more involved from a deep position and in the more attacking roles, and we got the goal that we deserved. I very thoroughly think that we deserved. But the big negative is this: we can't defend set pieces and crosses, and that was evident with that corner. It was just like the goal at Millwall. We failed to pick certain players up. Again, McBurney, who's the floating marker in the box, because everybody else has got people who are going to be marked. McBurney's the floating marker, should have picked that player up, and he was on his feet, planted on his feet when he got his head to that ball. He should have been in with a challenge there, and he allowed him that header. So it's a big negative for me. But overall, at least we didn't lose. That's a positive. We should have won. Jebison, early ball across to Morgan Gibbs-White. Let's move onwards and upwards to Tuesday night and to take the game to Chris Wilder's Middlesbrough and get the 3 points that we deserve. Up the Blades!
Well, as United give away the 3 points right at the end of that match, I thought it might be almost fitting to base our player rating today on the number of giveaways, as you start with a 10 and then you lose a point for every time you gave the ball away. But as too many players were already in the negatives at halftime, decided to scrap that idea, and we're just going to go with the regular player ratings. So, starting in goal with 𝐍𝐸𝐫𝐍 today, my player of the match, saved another penalty. Yes, it was a poor take, but he had a lot of really good saves, kept us in this game, almost won this game for us. So best player, 8.5 to Wes. Onto our back three, starting with Jackie Longthrow on the left. Gets a 6 from me. Had a silly yellow card for kicking the ball away after the penalty was awarded, but definitely was our best defender today of those back three. John Egan in the middle gets a 4 from me. He was our worst defender, gave the ball away far too much in the first half. Yes, he was pretty solid for most of the second half, but this game could have been way worse based on the mistakes Egan made alone. Moving over to the right side, Ben Davies gets a 5. He just can't be overlapping on that right side the way Basham does. Without a right foot, he has to cut back every single time, and the way our system works, go back into the watch-along halftime. I give Adam a really good explanation of why not, but a 5 from Davies today, playing out of position. Over to our wing-backs, we have Reece Norrington-Davis on the left side, also gets a 5. He was just getting beat all day long, including on the last corner where it was his man that he lost who ended up scoring the tying goal for Forest. Sariki on the other side, I'm giving a 6. Pretty generous, but for a player on his debut, I thought he did pretty well, was solid in defense, played very high forward, almost like we were seeing Jayden Bogle play. So good for him from me. John Fleck gets a 5 today in the midfield. Not a bad game, not a good game, just an average game from Fleck. Didn't really get himself involved too much in either good or bad sets of play. Ollie Norwood in the middle gets a 4.5 from me. He was poor on almost every single set piece. And by my rough calculations, was second to John Egan in terms of giveawaying the ball today. Berge, for me, gets a 7. On that right-hand side, literally no one in this division can tackle him. I love to see him playing on the right, and even when he moved into the middle in the Ollie Norwood role, he still played well. He still found space, dribbled the ball forward, made good passes. In our attacking mid, we had, of course, Morgan Gibbs-White, an amazing, amazing cross to Billy Sharp for the goal. He gets an 8 from me today. Just outstanding play. He's always going to be our most creative player, but we do need more from him, and we need him to sometimes play the simple option, not always the fancy flair option. And of course, up top we had Billy Sharp, who gets a 7 today. Obviously, when you score that great header that puts us up 1-0, you're going to get a good rating from me. But the first half, he just wasn't there, non-existent almost. So only a 7 for the captain today. On to our subs. I thought Ben Osborne was outstanding, gets a 7 from me. He really changed the game on that right-hand side. Amazing in defense, brilliant going forward. His work rate, his energy, the industrious Ben Osborne, we've missed that while he's been injured. I want to see more of that. If Baldock and Bogle are both going to be out long-term, if Basham's going to be out long-term, Osborne's the answer on the right-hand side for me. And Jebo, unfortunately, gets a 4.5 from me today. Pretty poor with the 2 chances that he did have. really, really got to do a better job passing to Gibbs White on that clear chance for a second goal. That would have won us the game today. And unfortunately, he just wasn't good enough. Still like the positions he was getting into, but needs to be better. And finally, Ollie McBurney gets a 5.5 from me today. I thought he played very well. He held up the ball. He tried to waste time. Unfortunately, a couple decisions the ref gave the other way instead of for him, and one or two decisions going for McBurney instead could have actually seen this game out, and we could have won 1-0. So I thought he played well when he came on. Finally, Heckenbottom and the rest of the coaching staff, I thought, did a pretty good job. Gets a 7. They got all the subs right. Again, second half, they always look great. The team always comes up and performs. We just got to figure out this first half. I don't know why it's taking us so long to get into games, but we got to change that. So, Hecky, that's my charge to you going forward. Let's get a goal or 2 or 3 against Middlesbrough in the first half. Up the Blades.